Right now, the husband of Nancy Pelosi is attacked by a suspect with a hammer in their San Francisco home. Also, if you didn't win multi-millions in the last Powerball mega jackpot, you've got another chance this weekend. This is News 3 Now at noon. Good afternoon. I'm Mark King. It's going to be another gorgeous weekend. Let's head to the Weather Center. Meteorologist Greg Barnhart has a look at your certified, most accurate forecast. Hard to believe it's the end of October.
It is the end of October. It's going to be the first part of November next week, and we're looking at really nice temperatures. Even today, you get upper 50s, but that's just the start of the story for the rest of the forecast. Right now, we should be in the upper 50s for most locations, low 60s, light winds, plenty of sunshine, no issues. We bottomed out in the low to mid 30s this morning. We should get up in the upper 50s, low 60s. Once again, averages about mid 50s. Dane County, all areas around 60 or just hitting it. As you look at the satellite, a few high clouds passing through. Otherwise, most of the Midwest is in good shape. System to the west, well, the west, that's going to head north, and there's one to the south, but we're going to be in between it. And then I'll break down how long this dry pattern lasts and whether we might see another 70 a bit later in the broadcast.
All right, looking forward to that. We'll see you, Greg. Thank you. Topping our news today, the husband of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi was attacked in their San Francisco home this morning. According to the Speaker's spokesperson, a suspect attacked 82-year-old Paul Pelosi, but the Speaker may have been the target. The intruder shouted, "Where is Nancy?" Pelosi was attacked and severely beaten by an assailant with a hammer and suffered blunt force trauma to his head and body. A suspect has been arrested. Speaker Pelosi was not in the residence at the time of the attack. Verona police say they have arrested a 58-year-old man on tentative charges of keeping a place of prostitution. Verona officers of the Wisconsin Department of Criminal Investigation executed a search warrant on a home on Lucille Street yesterday afternoon. Police say they also arrested two other people, a 25-year-old man and a 25-year-old woman, on outstanding warrants after the search. With the midterm election just 11 days away, President Biden and other Democrats are focusing on what they see as signs of an economic recovery, as rising prices and interest rates remain key issues for voters. But Republicans say inflation is out of control and blame the Democrats. Natalie Brand has the latest from Capitol Hill.
Bolstered by a GDP report showing the economy grew more than expected over the summer, President Biden rebutted concerns about the economy.
Economic growth is up, the price of inflation is down, real incomes are up, and the price of gas is down.
But with inflation still on the rise, increasing costs remain a top issue for voters and a key message for Republicans.
The grocery store price of food skyrocketing. Price of electricity skyrocketing.
With control of Congress at stake, President Biden and Vice President Harris traveled to Pennsylvania tonight for a fundraiser for that battleground state's Democratic candidates. That includes Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman, who is in a tight Senate race with Dr. Mehmet Oz. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, in a hot mic moment, expressed optimism about the Pennsylvania race, but concerns for Georgia's Senate race. Meanwhile, in Alaska, divisions within the Republican Party were on display over abortion during a debate between incumbent Senator Lisa Murkowski, who's facing a challenge from a Trump-backed candidate, Kelly Tshibaka.
I do support codification of Roe versus Wade. There's a bill that has been introduced that would set a nationwide cap somewhere in the second trimester when a fetus could feel pain. I would support a bill like that.
Democrat Pat Chesbrough is also in that race. Alaska's elections now use a ranked choice voting system, which allows voters to rank multiple candidates on a ballot in order of preference. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
And locally, Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg is campaigning in Madison at this hour for an early vote event, and former President Barack Obama is holding a Democratic rally tomorrow in Milwaukee. The deaths of 8 people in Oklahoma in a home there are being investigated as a murder-suicide. The 8 people, including 6 children, were found in a burning home in Broken Arrow. The police chief there says the 6 children ranged in age from 1 to 13 and that the 2 adults found dead are considered suspects. He says it doesn't appear that anyone died because of the fire. A spokeswoman for the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives says the agency is assisting police in tracing guns found in the home. An evacuation order has forced out residents of a 14-story oceanfront building in Miami Beach on the same avenue where a condominium collapsed in Surfside, killing nearly 100 people just last year. The order came after engineers determined the Port Royale building is unsafe. They discovered that a main concrete beam supporting the 50-year-old building has shifted, and the crack in the beam has grown bigger. It'll be another Powerball frenzy leading up to tomorrow night's drawing. The massive lottery jackpot has climbed to an estimated $825 million. The Powerball jackpot ranks as the 5th largest in U.S. history. It's good to keep in mind that it's grown so large because no one has hit all 6 numbers since August 3rd. And 2 superstars who respectively reached the pinnacle of fashion and football are going their separate ways. Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen have announced that their divorce is final. They each posted statements to Instagram this morning saying they had finalized the end of their 13-year-old marriage. Brady had long expressed a desire to spend more time with his wife and 3 children, but later he said that he had unfinished business with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Well, there's more to come on News for Now at noon. Today's stock prices and vandalism by activists have gotten art lovers turning red.
You're watching News 3 Now at noon.
It's A1 Furniture's anniversary sale with up to 43% off store-wide and 43 months free financing. Plus, get tax included on purchases over $9.99. Huge selection in stock now at A1 Furniture.
Madison's locally owned family furniture store.
Radical Tim Michaels is extremely divisive.
I don't care who I offend.
And at his company, the culture comes from the top. Multiple court filings say women were sexually assaulted, harassed, and pressured to have sex with their bosses.
If she refused demands for sex, she would be blackballed from working on a pipeline job.
Higher-ups dismissed the women as liars and fired those who spoke out.
I don't care who I offend.
That's how Tim Michaels runs his company. Don't let him run our state.
It's a great time for your next appliance upgrade with 11% off everything going on now at Menards. Transform your home with top appliance brands including KitchenAid, Maytag, Whirlpool, Amana, and Criterion. Upgrade your home with quality, energy-efficient appliances from Menards. We offer the lowest prices with the largest in-stock appliance selection ready to take home today. Get 11% off your entire appliance upgrade now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
All units, all units. Reports of an abortion at Central Hospital. Officers needed to detain doctor.
If Ron Johnson has his way, he wouldn't just ban abortions. Doctors could go to jail for it. And Johnson's tried for over a decade. He even co-sponsored a bill with no exceptions for rape, incest, or the life of the woman. And said if women don't like an abortion ban, they can just move. But it's Ron Johnson who doesn't belong in Wisconsin.
Not attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. If you or a loved one were stationed at Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987 and were later diagnosed with cancer, Parkinson's disease, or other serious health effects, call right now.
Call 1-800-336-0524.
For Clinton Anderson, our community is his top priority. He's delivered for middle-class families on the Beloit City Council, and he'll keep fighting to lower costs for us in the Assembly. Jeff Klett's priorities are all wrong. He supports dismantling our public schools, wants to slash community services to give tax breaks to his billionaire backers, and he'll vote with extreme Republicans to enforce Wisconsin's abortion ban, which could send doctors to prison. We can't afford Jeff Klett.
Don't miss A1 Furniture's anniversary sale. Save up to 43% off name brand mattresses and get 43 months free financing. Plus, get tax included on purchases over $9.99. Huge selection in stock now at A1 Furniture.
Madison's locally owned family furniture store.
There's some good news for the U.S. economy. New government data shows the country's gross domestic product grew 2.6% last quarter. That comes after 2 straight quarters of declining growth. However, Americans continue to deal with high prices, while some economists are fearful the country could dip into a recession in the coming months. Ahead of the busy shopping season, Amazon wants to make it easier for customers by giving them yet another way to pay for items. The online retailer has begun allowing select shoppers to use Venmo at checkout. PayPal, which owns Venmo, says it wants to make the payment service available on Amazon for all U.S. users by Black Friday. Americans will get another chance to try to become multi-millionaires tomorrow with the second largest Powerball jackpot ever. The amount is now a whopping $800 million after 36 straight drawings with no grand prize winner. The cash option for Saturday's jackpot is just over $383 million. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to CBSMoneyWatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Dan Lieberman.
Checking Wall Street at the noon hour, the Dow Industrials up 694 points, the NASDAQ up 238, the S&P 500 up 71. Well, the latest form of protest against climate change has the art world seeing red. Activists are attacking famous paintings to draw attention to their cause. Across Europe, climate campaigners are attacking paintings. It's an act of vandalism intended to shock. Climate activists throw tomato soup at Vincent van Gogh's sunflowers, then superglue themselves to the wall. And once they have your attention, they want you to hear their message.
Are you more concerned about the protection of a painting or the protection of our planet and people?
And it's not just paintings being targeted. At Madame Tussauds in London, King Charles got a cake to the face. The activists have people talking, but it remains unclear whether their art is helping their cause. A piece of art from the late Andy Warhol is up for grabs for somebody with some deep pockets. It's called White Disaster, White Car Crash 19 Times, and it shows a duplicated black and white image of an automobile accidit. Sotheby's says it could sell for around $80 million. Warhol created the 12-foot-tall, 6-foot-wide, silk-screened print in 1963 for the artist's Death and Disaster series. The auction for the print is scheduled for November 16th. Before that, White Disaster will be on display at Sotheby's, New York, starting November 4th. Our call for action volunteers are in the building taking your consumer complaints and taking action on your behalf. You're taking a live look at the Call for Action studio. Volunteers are here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so you can call for action right now at 608-270-2833 or submit a claim anytime at channel3000.com/call-for-action. Pam has today's egg prices next, and Greg's along with a beautiful weekend forecast. And then today on Live at 4, Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company will have some fantastic pumpkin carving tips just in time for Halloween.
Black November starts now at Ashley. For a limited time, save 55% on Beauty Rest Select Hybrid mattresses and receive a comforter, 2 pillows, and a 4-piece sheet set for free. And get 60 months special financing with no money down. Happening now only at Ashley.
More than 300 murders just last year. Terror at the Waukesha Christmas Parade. But defund the police radical Mandela Barnes still supports eliminating cash bail, releasing dangerous criminals back into our communities. Barnes says,
reducing prison population is now sexy.
Actually, releasing criminals isn't sexy. It's dangerous. Radical Mandela Barnes won't keep your family safe. Senate Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
All units, all units. Reports of an abortion at Central Hospital. Officers needed to detain doctor.
If Ron Johnson has his way, he wouldn't just ban abortions. Doctors could go to jail for it. And Johnson's tried for over a decade. He even co-sponsored a bill with no exceptions for rape, incest, or the life of the woman. And said if women don't like an abortion ban, they can just move. But it's Ron Johnson who doesn't belong in Wisconsin.
Black November starts now at Ashley. For a limited time, take a bonus 20% off your purchase of $19.99 or more at checkout. Plus, get 60 months special financing, no minimum and no money down. Happening now only at Ashley.
As Campaign 2022 approaches the finish line, News 3 Now presents a special midterm election preview.
We're spotlighting key races and issues, fact-checking candidates, and hearing the voices of voters in battleground Wisconsin.
Saturday, November 5th at 7 p.m.
The Property Brothers are in my house.
It's literally the most beautiful set I've ever seen. This is a very strange interview.
Plus the hilarious Amber Ruffin on the Jennifer Hudson Show.
On the next Jennifer Hudson Show at 3. The Farm Report is sponsored by Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Let's check in now with Pam Yaki from the Midwest Farm Report on this Friday.
Beautiful Friday at that. Busy Friday. We've got 60,000 plus kids down in Indianapolis, Indiana that are wrapping up the 95th National FFA Convention, and Wisconsin's got some winners. Want to talk about Ethan Meisner. He is a young man from Marshfield who last evening was named the National Proficiency Award winner in agriculture processing. He started in 2016 working at Hewitt's Meats, a meat processing plant near his hometown. He initially started out basically just taking boxes of meat to customers' cars. But then through the course of time, he advanced working in the retail store. Then eventually he was 18 and could be behind the scenes using the bandsaw, the knives, and things like that. And it really helped to inspire this young man. Now he is pursuing a career in agriculture engineering at UW River Falls. Still would like to come back to the meat processing industry. So Ethan Meisner from the Marshfield FFA, our National Proficiency Award winner in agriculture processing. Then I just found out that we also have a winner from Stevens Point FFA. Claire, last name is Viau. Vow, I'm taking a stab at it. She was a winner in the National FFA Agri-Science Fair. That allows either individuals or partners to bring different plant-based demonstrations up in the Agri-Science Fair. I think it's about one of the only times that Wisconsin has gotten a winner, so congratulations to her from the Stevens Point FFA. We're also keeping you posted on what's going on. Speaking of UW River Falls, they have announced that they've got it narrowed down to 4 candidates for the next dean of the College of Agriculture, Food, and Environmental Sciences, CAFES, as we call it for short. Dale Gallenberg, who's the current dean up at UW River Falls, retiring after 16 years. They hope to have his successor announced within the next, before the end of the calendar year. Talking a little bit more about the FFA convention. So that's actually going to wrap up tomorrow in Indianapolis, Indiana. Last evening was a very emotional time for Spencer native Courtney Zimmerman. She gave her retiring address as the Central Region Vice President on the National FFA Officer Team. She basically dedicated her tribute to her father, Mark Zimmerman, who passed away earlier this summer. He had been an agriculture instructor, FFA advisor as well. Barrel and block cheese, both unchanged today. Butter, that dropped just a half a cent at $3.14 a pound. So there you go. I don't know. Did they even run the numbers? Our soybeans are the only thing that's up. If we
didn't see them.
Okay, I didn't see them either. But if you're wondering, farmers, because I know you wait for those numbers, the only thing that's up right now are soybeans, corn, wheat, and dairy. Dairy currently down double digits when I last looked.
And our hopes are up for the Packers.
Yes, please.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm telling you, I thought about it when I looked at my shirt. I may not get another upgrade on my clothes if they don't get with it pretty soon.
Go Pack!
Go Pack, please.
All right, fam. Have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Christmas comes but once a year, but it feels like the holiday season is arriving earlier than ever. Many stores are already putting up their holiday lights before Halloween. Brady Blackburn explains some of the reasons why.
At the American Christmas Warehouse in Mount Vernon, New York, Christmas can't come earlier because it never ends. All year, they prepare high-end holiday displays for clients in 30 states and some of New York City's most iconic spaces.
We're doing Radio City Music Hall, Saks Fifth Avenue, Cartier, Macy's, and many, many office buildings and retailers.
CEO Dan Castorella says these installations are now so complex they can take weeks, and they have to start putting them up, yes, before Halloween.
The decorating is happening right now.
Right now. Everything on the floor is getting ready to go out.
All across the country, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas earlier than ever this year. Near Los Angeles, this outlet mall tree arrived in October. In Houston, Bo's already wrapping buildings.
My first reaction was, wow, isn't it a little too early?
I don't even have my pumpkins out, and they've gone straight to Christmas.
Some experts say retailers are responding to consumers who are starting holiday shopping now in part due to inflation.
They're afraid that as it gets closer to Christmas, it'll cost just a little bit more.
Another reason you're seeing all those lights and ornaments on sale, there's a glut of them. Last year, supply chain problems meant holiday stock arrived too late, so some stores are now selling 2 Christmases of decorations.
I think to their surprise and also to their chagrin, they have a ton of inventory. So my expectation is that you'll probably be seeing a lot of sales probably in the next month or so.
Ready or not, Christmas time is here again right now. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, Mount Vernon, New York. A National Retail Federation survey found that this year, 46% of consumers plan to start their holiday shopping before November. Let's look at the calendar. Do Halloween first. How's that?
Yeah, well, it's not even feeling like Halloween either. So we really it's beautiful conditions are outside right now today. So we have the second round of high school football today, the playoffs coming up. So it'll be colder than last week, but still getting down to the low 40s, dry, light winds. So still a good evening. It just won't be as warm as we saw last week. Trick-or-treating looks good actually for Monday too, and this whole weekend also. 63 for Monday for a high, but then we'll probably cool down into the mid-50s by the time it gets trick-or-treating. Light winds, really great conditions overall. You look at, we've actually seen more improvement in temperatures. Farther southern, they've actually seen a drop in temperatures just because of cloud cover. There's a system beginning to approach the southeast. But overall, most of the U.S. is actually warmer than they were yesterday. Really, the split flow continues. We have one jet to the north, one to the south. That one to the south keeps the storm track really in the precipitation to the south. The other one to the north keeps more of that cold air up there. And that's not going to change here until probably next Wednesday when we'll start seeing a little bit of a change with it. You can see by the time we get to Wednesday, this system really starts digging south. Cold air gets into the west, which means we're going to get southwest winds ahead of it. That's going to be really warming us up by Wednesday, and it takes the time for the system to get through by next week, and every day it looks weaker and weaker, so we may actually extend the dry period a little bit longer. Overall, you can see we're not going to see much in the way of clouds, light winds from the south as we go through tomorrow, and then we get to the Sunday. Sunday, we'll start seeing clouds come up from the south because we do have a system well to the south that's not going to give us much other than cloud cover, but that's really about it we're going to see for this whole weekend. Otherwise, temperatures should be really comfortable. Today, we're going to get into the 60s for some areas, upper 50s for most. Tonight, we'll cool off again, a little bit less cloud cover, so maybe upper 20s to mid 30s for most of the locations. As you wake up tomorrow morning, light winds once again. And tomorrow, it's going to be kind of a repeat story, but actually warmer. We should get up to the mid 60s, maybe even upper 60s for some locations. Once again, same story goes as we go to Saturday night into Sunday. A few more clouds creep back in, so maybe warmer going into Sunday morning, low 40s. But then once we get to Saturday, we're going to see temperatures climb right back up into the mid-60s, near 70 again. So overall, as you look at this, the 10-day, it's not much to complain about. As we see, we got temperatures climbing to maybe 70 once again. People forget it did reach 70 back in 2020 on November 9th. So it is, we can hit it. And then we got Halloween looking still good, low 60s, no issues to speak of. And then once again, that next system that comes through is going to be the end of next week. But even that looks weaker and weaker every time we look at it day by day. So this stretch may continue beyond that. It's certainly not going to get cold, and we're certainly not going to see any snow anytime soon as now we get into November.
So the November 9th, that's the latest 70s?
That is not the latest. The latest is actually November 17th, I believe, in 2016. So we can't get them all the way through November.
Who knows?
It just wasn't that long ago, 2 years ago. And then, of course, 3 years ago, we had 4 inches of snow on Halloween, too.
Anything can happen this time of year.
So we've been good. It's going to be a good time.
All right, Greg, thank you. There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Up next, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
There's no need to order takeout when you can whip up a house special in no time. No time.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
When a clean, shiny truck pulls up in front of your house, everyone starts clapping because everyone is happy. Yeah! And that's why they all start dancing. We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Democrats defunded and dispirited our police, creating the worst crime wave in decades. Biden spent us into 40-year high inflation, drove gas prices to record levels, and opened our borders, causing a flood of illegal immigrants and deadly drugs. Mandela Barnes supports all the policies causing you and your family so much pain. He will rubber stamp their liberal agenda. Mandela Barnes sides with radical leftists, not with you.
I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message.
Over 800 convicted criminals released. 270 murderers and attempted murderers released. 44 child rapists released. Tony Evers' parole commission has released hundreds of violent criminals early, including some of the worst killers in Wisconsin history. Evers' liberal policies are making our communities less safe. Tony Evers put criminals first and our family's safety last.
Nothing beats a great night's sleep on a new Beauty Rest mattress from Steinhoffels. Right now, you can get a Beauty Rest Queen mattress for only $4.99. Or get $200 in Steinhoffels cash when you upgrade to the redesigned Beauty Rest Black. More luxurious and comfortable than ever. And with Steinhoffels special financing, your mattress just got more affordable. Isn't it time you got a great night's sleep? Relax. It's Steinhoffels.
I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
All units, all units. Reports of an abortion at Central Hospital. Officers needed to detain doctor.
If Ron Johnson has his way, he wouldn't just ban abortions. Doctors could go to jail for it. And Johnson's tried for over a decade. He even co-sponsored a bill with no exceptions for rape, incest, or the life of the woman. And said if women don't like an abortion ban, they can just move. But it's Ron Johnson who doesn't belong in Wisconsin.
When a clean, shiny truck pulls up in front of your house, everyone starts clapping because everyone is happy. Yeah! And that's why they all start dancing. We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
If you pick up just about any Chinese takeout menu and look under house specials, you'll probably find a dish called General Tso's chicken. It's boneless chicken that's breaded and fried and served with a sweet and spicy Asian sauce. We like it so much, we came up with an easy baked version, rather than fried, that you can make at home. We begin by cutting some boneless, skinless chicken breasts into chunks. First, we dip them in some flour, then into beaten eggs, before breading them with crushed cornflakes. These go on a baking sheet where we'll coat them with cooking spray before popping them in the oven. You see, coating them with spray allows them to crisp up while they bake without having to fry them. While they're in the oven, we'll make a sauce to serve with them. It's simply a combo of chicken broth, rice vinegar, soy sauce, hoisin sauce, you can find all of these in the ethnic aisle, a little tomato paste, a pinch of red pepper flakes, and a bit of sugar. After this comes to a boil, we'll let it thicken up. When you toss this with the crispy chicken and serve it over some cooked rice, along with some steamed broccoli, you'll have a dish that'll become your own house special. To get the recipe for General Tso's chicken, simply visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a fake-out takeout way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Oh, the first coins bearing the portrait of King Charles III have been produced in the UK's Royal Mint. The 50 pence, that's about 70 cents coin, will go into circulation before the end of the year. Following in the tradition of his grandfather, King George VI, Charles is not depicted as wearing a crown, unlike the coin depicting his mother, Queen Elizabeth II. 70 cents, that's all he gets? All right. Here's Greg, one final check of the forecast.
Well, like I said, it's going to be a great stretch of weather. I can't really complain as we go to the end of October and begin to the new month of November. So 60s, maybe a 70 out there, but we're looking good, and conditions should be great as we get to 59 degrees this afternoon, 70 probably by next weekend, maybe.